What it do, Dream Team? It's your boy D Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with 8 lies you've been told about Australia. Before we jump into these lies, I need you to smash that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, give the video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. What we got?
What's good, y'all? Tristan here, and today I'm going to be telling you 8 lies you've been told about Australia. The first lie that I was told about Australia is that things here are expensive. I was made to believe that living in Australia was going to be like the same price as like living in like Nordic countries, like Norway, Sweden, but when it comes down to it, like most things in Australia are about the same price as they would be in the States. I feel a little bit bad because I feel like this is a lie I've kind of helped contribute to by some things that I've said on this channel. I've mentioned a lot how alcohol is more expensive here. There are a couple of very specific things like alcohol and tobacco that are so much more expensive here. Like yes, it's like 2 to 3 times the price to buy alcohol and tobacco here in Australia. But aside from that, really the only other things that are like maybe a little bit more expensive here is I would say fast food might be slightly more expensive and gas is a little bit more expensive here. But when it really comes down to it, like things are about the same price for the most part, you know, give or take a little bit, like food's about the same price. I would actually say I can think of more things that are cheaper here than in America. For example, healthcare, cell phone service. From what I've noticed when shopping at stores here, I think clothing has been a little bit cheaper here in Australia. The second lie that I was told about—
Because the prices may seem, I guess, more expensive, but I think because they make more, their minimum wage is ridiculously higher than America's minimum wage. And so I think it all basically evens itself out. And like you said, the healthcare and all that is a whole lot cheaper, crazily cheaper. But yeah, at the end of the day, it basically evens itself. Even if the price tag shows a little more, they're making more money. So it cost of living evens itself out. I've seen that in multiple videos.
About Australia. It's kind of hard to put into words, but it's like that kangaroos are like some sort of like special, cool, unique animal. Yes, kangaroos are unique to Australia. I don't think they're in any other country. And yes, they are the national animal of Australia. That being said, there's just not really a lot of hype around them like we think there is in the States. I would compare kangaroos here to like our deer in America. You can like hunt them and eat them, like their meat will be offered for sale like at grocery stores here. You'll often just like see them dead laying on the side of the road because they've like been hit by cars. And funny enough, they're actually considered pests in a lot of places in Australia. They're all over the place, like maybe not in like the cities, but like in general they're all over Australia. I think there's like 60 million of them here or something like that. They just don't have this like cool X factor to them here in Australia. Like koalas here in Australia, Australians think koalas are cool. Like they are like kept in sanctuaries and they like take care of them, and I mean they are kind of like a dying species, but they're definitely treated with like a higher level of like care than like most animals. And I don't know, that's kind of how I thought kangaroos were here when coming here, but no, in reality like kangaroos are just like, it's like a squirrel, like a deer. It's just another animal that's there. They don't like, I don't know what to say. I don't want to say they don't value them, but like they don't have it, like they're not elevated to a higher level than most animals. Speaking of kangaroos,
because there's just too much of them. When you have that much of the animal, it's like, and to the point where they're considered pests in some places. No, they're not going to be considered special. They're not. But when an animal is like dying out, or there's not much of an animal, now the animal is special. It's more valuable. Unless it's like a domesticated animal that you can have as a pet, like a dog or a cat, which are considered special and stuff. But yeah, they are special to other countries. Like in the U.S., I'm like, dang, eating our kangaroo meat like would be super dope, or like seeing a kangaroo would be awesome. Like, because we don't have that, we don't have kangaroo meat, or we don't have kangaroos here, and so it'd be super dope to me. But yeah, in Australia where there's so many of them, I can understand it not being as special.
But like they don't have it, like they're not elevated to a higher level than most animals. Speaking of kangaroos, number 3, I did not want to put this on the list. Like I could not imagine this being a lie that people actually believe about Australia, but like
we don't believe that they ride kangaroos to school. If people believe that, it's sad. If they believe that, it's sad. That people actually ride kangaroos, bro. If that's what you about to say, Tristan, it's sad that people believe that. I agree.
Like every Australian I've talked to seems to have been asked this by a foreigner, and that is, no, they do not ride kangaroos here in Australia. Who the thinks this? I don't know. Like, first of all, they're not that big. Second of all, where would you ride? Like, would you sit on it like this? Like, would you like stand vertically on its back? Like how would you ride a kangaroo? And third, they don't walk, they like hop. Could you imagine
Yeah.
how uncomfortable a ride on a kangaroo would be if you're hopping everywhere? I am from Texas. I've been asked a couple dozen times if I ride a horse to school. I think that is a stupid, dumb thing that misconception people would have. But that at least makes like a little bit of sense, because like it is possible to ride a horse.
Yes,
like a kangaroo,
exactly.
come on guys. The fourth lie that you've been told about Australia is you've been lied to about what are some of the famous Aussie sayings. So one is dingo ate my baby. I've never heard anyone say that. The second one is crikey. All respect to
I've never heard dingo ate my baby ever in my life.
Steve Irwin. I think he kind of like made that famous, and like
Shout out to Steve Irwin, one of the most absolute legends, one of the most absolute legendary people to ever walk this planet.
Like, I'm not saying, I maybe have heard it like once here, but it's not something you hear like everyday Australians say. Three is shrimp on the barbie. No one actually says that. They don't even call shrimp here, they call them prawn. So if they were to say that, it would be prawn on the barbie, but yeah, they don't even really say that much. And the fourth Aussie saying that they don't actually really say here that much is good day, mate. Like, that is probably the most stereotypical Aussie saying, and good day, they say mate. If you want to talk like an Aussie, yeah, say mate. They say that all the time. But good day, yes, they do say it here. I've heard it. Like, it's not like they never say good day. But when they're walking down the street and they see a friend, they don't say good day, mate. They just say like, hey, mate, what's up, mate? How you doing, mate? Like, they don't say good day. Yes, they use it, but by no means is it the most common way to say hello. The fifth.
I've heard in a video that I've seen that it's like more of a generational thing. Like, the younger generation doesn't really ever say it, or doesn't say it much, whereas it's like an older generation type thing. That's what I've seen in a different video. I could be completely wrong, but it's not me being wrong. It would be the video I see being wrong. But keep it going, Tristan.
Lie that you've been told about Australia is that Foster's beer is a famous Australian beer. At one point, like, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years ago, apparently it was a fairly common beer here. But in today's day and age, nobody drinks it. If you want like an actual common Australian beer, get like a Great Northern or a VB. All right, my sixth lie that you've been told about.
I know Australians absolutely hate that being in the same sentence with Foster's. You know what I'm saying? It seems like from all the videos I watch, Australians just do not rock with Foster's beer at all. They hate it being like related to Australia, and they just don't rock with it. So I don't know how it became. Probably through advertisement, of course, it became like popular, synonymous with Australia. I never heard Foster's being popular, synonymous with Australia, but yeah, I don't know. I've never heard Foster's in Australia, but it seems to have been a huge thing. And Australians are like, stop it. We don't F with that crap.
About Australia is that everyone here in Australia surfs. Let me explain this a little, because there's a lot of truth to this, but also a lot of lie to this. So I'm going to start off with some statistics. So 2.5 million people, that's about 10% of Australia, are recreational surfers. That's just based on Wikipedia, but I don't know, we'll trust it. That same website also said that only 420,000 people participated in surfing annually. That's closer to 2% of the Australian population, so much lower. Let me give you my take on it. Yes, a lot of people in Australia do surf, but it's not nearly as many people as I was expecting when I came over here. So first, I was in Victoria. Victoria, like most of the population, is in Melbourne. Melbourne is in a bay, so there's not really many waves there at all. Like, the waves are like this big there, so you can't surf. If you do want to surf, you have to drive about an hour and a half to 2 hours like around to get outside of the bay. So do people surf there? Yes, but it's not like, oh, go finish work and then go, catch some waves. It's like, no, you need to make like a weekend, like a big trip out of it where you like drive like 2 hours if you want to surf. Then I went to Tasmania. Tons of amazing, great surfing places in Tasmania. That being said, it's freaking cold as heck down there. When I was there, I just didn't happen to see many surfers. Then I went up to Cairns, was there for 3 months, and then I traveled down the east coast of Queensland. It's like a huge state, a lot of coastline. The whole like northern like 2/3 of Queensland, you can't surf in because that's where the Great Barrier Reef is at, and so that kills all the waves. So there's just not good surf. And then there's also like jellyfish and crocodiles and all that, so you don't surf there. Then if you go to the Northern Territory, same thing. There's like crocodiles and jellyfish, and there's just not many good waves in the Northern Territory, so no one surfs there. If you're in Canberra, that's a landlocked place, so you can't really surf in Canberra. Then if you go to Western Australia, there's a bunch of good surf there, but no one lives in Western Australia besides Perth. So yes, you can surf, but no one's out there. Then you get to where I'm at now, and this is the southern
Yes, you can surf, but no one's out there. No one surfs out there.
third of Queensland. Southern third of Queensland. Noosa was the first big like surfer town that I had seen in Australia, and I was just there like 2 weeks ago. Now I'm in a place called Surfers Paradise. Obviously, great waves, great place to surf. total surfer vibes. This is what I expected all of Australia was going to be like when I came here. You go a little bit south of here, New South Wales, you go to Byron Bay, like tons of great surf in New South Wales. That being said, I don't want to take anything away from the like beaches and the surfing culture here, because they have sick beaches here, whether you can surf at them or not. Like the surfing culture here is awesome. I guess I just say it took me a while to find that real surfer vibe here in Australia. The seventh lie that you've been told.
I was gonna say, dang, what's so dope about that? It sounds like he's like lived in almost every part of Australia, or you know what I'm saying? He's very knowledgeable, or at least has been to almost every part of Australia, and I think that's super cool.
About Australia is that driving on the other side of the road, driving on the left side is hard. You think it might be like hard or something, but really you just like follow the lanes and it's like super easy learning how to drive on the left side of the road. Like you get in a car, you drive for like 10 minutes max, and like you've totally adjusted and it's good. I've not met a single person who thought it was difficult or had a hard time with it. That being said, one thing that you will find maybe surprisingly hard or difficult is how to walk on the left side of the road, or how to walk on the left side. This was something I was not expecting to be difficult, but you're just so used to like when you're like running into someone on the sidewalk, stepping to the right, or you're about to cross the road and you look right for a car when you're supposed to look left, or vice versa. The driving, super easy to adjust to. The walking, like as silly as it sounds, it's a little bit harder to adjust to that. The eighth and final lie that you've been told about Australia is that the toilets here flush the other way. I know in science class when you were like 7, 8 years old, they told you how in the southern hemisphere, like water naturally spins.
They never told me this in any science class at 7 or 8 year old, or I just don't remember. I don't remember any science class though where I've ever been told that the toilets flush the other way. I've never, until I've seen videos on YouTube, I feel like I've never seen that or heard that in my life. But we didn't learn about any other country's toilets 100% sure that I've never learned about another country's toilets. But that's funny. That's a funny one.
In science class when you were like 7, 8 years old, they told you how in the southern hemisphere, like water naturally spins the other way. The example they gave you were toilets in Australia. Everyone thinks, oh, toilets in Australia flush the other way. Well, I hate to tell you, but this is totally false. This is a complete lie. Yes, maybe scientifically they're supposed to spin the other way, but the reality is toilets here just don't spin at all. So I talked in another video, like this is what an American toilet looks like, and this is what an Australian toilet looks like. They have way less water in them, so while our toilets do like a long, like spinning, slow flush that sucks down, the toilets here just do a quick, like suck down, no spinning at all. Like I've been here for a while, I've traveled a lot, probably used over 100 toilets. I'm telling you, I look every time and nope, not a single one has spun. If you enjoyed this video or you once believed any of these lies, make sure to give this video a big old like. Thank you so much for watching, and peace out, guys.
That's all we got for this one. You guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. It's your boy Neal, out.